All right. So we have a lot to cover today. So I'm going to quickly start with the entire journey of how to make a resume. Resume is a French word that means summary. Now, people, they mistook it to something that I need to write my lifelong story here. So resume is a summary. Curriculum vitae is generally a detailed resume where you have your professional story in detail. It could be 3 to 5 pages or whatever, but professional, right? Biodata is mix of professional and personal as well. So when you talk about I was good in this, I was cricket captain in my school days and all, you can put anything in your story of life. That is a biodata, right? What recruiters, companies are interested in the resume, which is summary, everything summarized, just bullet points. That's why we always recommend keep the resumes in bullets. So what is it that we need in a resume? Okay, first of all, there are 4 success criteria. First being understand the JD, the job description, the role match, the job role, or I would call it a job description. If your resume is not matching the job description, it is not a good resume, right? Every scenario, if you can go back and reflect, check your resume, it says, well, it doesn't match with the job description you're applying for, it's not going to help you. Then clear ATS, obviously, it is a mandate. It's a basic first step. If it is not able to clear ATS, then it's a problem. Now, clearing ATS, we're not covering today because we are completing the entire exercise. Now, the basic idea is don't be over obsessed with the scores that ATS gives. You should be very focused on what the ATS showcasing you, that your skills are matching or not. If your skills in the resume are matching the job description, because the ATS software also tells you what skills are missing in your resume, which are there in the job description. That is the most important thing for us. Now, if you're able to tap that, the game is won, right? Then we focus on the other aspects, like what is there in the structure, the inputs, how we want to showcase certain pointers in the top, bottom, etc., etc., etc. Fair enough? Then the third thing is the recruiter is. Now, the time taken by a recruiter to shortlist a resume, shortlist, right? Time taken by a recruiter to shortlist a resume based on the industry standards is 6 to 9 seconds. And me and you have the same questions. What on earth they can check in the 6 to 9 seconds? So the basic principle is on the top, your summary should have the primary things that the recruiter is looking for. That means the job description keywords, right? And it should have a quick summary of your skills. Suppose they look at the resume, they will immediately look at, is this person having the skills I'm looking for? And they have a checklist. Basically, they have a checklist for all the skills. So where should we park most of the skills? At the top in the summary, as well as there is a skill section as well you can use. Generally, I recommend a lot of people don't do it, but I always recommend use a skill section. There should be one skill section. Then highlight skills. That is what I've mentioned. This is so important when you are mentioning, sharing your resume. Highlighting skill is basic. Otherwise, they will not see. This is like any other resume, right? And there's a way to highlight skills as well. So anyways, this is how we need to look at. Do my resume. When you do an assessment of your resume, just check whether the resume which you are applying for a role has all these things or not. And if your resume doesn't qualify, please revisit that. Don't just apply blindly. Don't just think that this is another opportunity and let me be casual. I like this resume, so I'll anyways apply. Please don't do that. It will not give you the results that you need from the recruiter or the hiring manager. So let's jump into the actual context of what is the resume, how to build one. Okay. Now formats, as I said, I generally recommend you can go to Microsoft Word, get the free formats, right? It has auto-populated templates, just update your information. That's about it. Type of resume, nature could be, suppose it could be a soft copy, it could be a hard copy, it could be an online profile. You can have an online profile and a video resume. Suppose online platforms like your profile on LinkedIn, your profile on Naukri, Your profiles on social media is actually, it's a way of your resume. People can go through it and see this person is right for a role like this. So be very, very updated on your resumes, be it the photograph, be it the information. Suppose you're doing something amazing right now. Suppose you've got a very good certification recently. It should have all that information, because recruiters are generally interested in what is your recent, the most recent experience you have, right? They don't care about the 5 years ago wala period or 10 years ago wala period. They don't really care about that, because they know, and it is very practical. If I ask you, what did you do what you did 5 years ago, can you just share me the day-to-day working that you were used to do 5 years ago? No, you can't. Today you can explain yesterday, or in a regular day, how my day looks like for this role. Generally, this is one of my questions in my interviews. What I do is I ask the person, okay, can you share how your day looks like? When you talk about your day, it explains a lot of things which you do and which you don't do. Sometimes people claim that they do it, but if you explain your day, you can always check, okay, yeah, these are the things that he or she is currently doing, and these are the things that he or she is not doing. Anyways, then the structure. It could be chronological, that is the sequence, descending order with recent most experience first. Then functional is primarily when you are specific to one function or activity, that is functional. Then it's a combination. Generally, we use the combination where we have chronological order for the experiences, functional in the way that if I'm very applying for a very specific kind of role, say a project management in IT services, so I will be very focused on that particular role. Functional generally is for very specific roles. Okay, targeted it, if you're targeting it for a very specific kind of role, very similar to functional, very similar. Mini is just quick information, small half pager that this is what I do. Anything combination works well, and chronological is the most used one. Chronological is descending order of your experience, recent most at the top, and then others later. So I'll show you. Suppose, let me have a templatized resume. Let me show you my, okay, just a moment here. So this is a resume sample I have got, and I'll share this, how my resume currently looks like. And this is again a sample, so don't judge me on this. Very basic, use the Word format to build one. And if you see, I hope you can see my resume, right? So if you see basic information at the top, right? Email address. I don't recommend that complete address. It is just the location where I work or where I stay, because recruiters sometimes need that. Then my phone number and the email address. Then a summary, professional summary, which I always recommend, as you can see at the top. Then something related to the professional skills. Then my current experience, where I stand today. And then, of course, the previous experience that I have done. Education. So just a basic structure I wanted to showcase to you. Now, moving on, what are the 7 sections? I just showed you the 7 sections, and I'll cover those and one by one, which you need to take care of. First is the name and contact information. Now, what are the things that we need to keep in mind? Keep the information updated, as I mentioned. Use a professional email address. Now, please don't do the cool dude and guess who and things like that, right? It is not a good sign, because people judge you for being professional. Interestingly, a lot of people post a lot of things on social media, and the way people form an opinion about someone is based on the kind of post they are sharing. And it is possible that you're a completely different person. You are a very jolly, good person, but you're posting very serious posts, or the other way around. So people perceive you as that person, the kind of posts you are posting on social media. So be very careful when you share and update your resume. What is it that you want to showcase them as, right? Then professional summary or objective. Now, this is an important topic, and I'll quickly run you through why this is. A lot of people put professional summary, as I put in professional summary. Someone will put objective, and I see the objective spelling is wrong. Okay. Anyways, what is a professional summary? Summary is a concise and well-crafted paragraph that provides overview of your skills, experience, accomplishments, and relevant. These are relevant to your position. Keyword here is relevant. And what do we need to include? Skills, experiences, and accomplishments. Whatever you want to showcase, highlight in the small paragraph. What is objective? Objective is what I want to do. The objective is a brief statement that outlines the type of job you are seeking, your career goals, right? And by the way, who cares about your goals? Don't think that I am rude, but the challenge is the company is looking for a person who can help them bring more profits to the company. They don't care about your goals. That's a harsh truth of life. It typically focuses on what you want to achieve in your career, and it's more about you as a person rather than what you have already accomplished or you have showcased. Now, why company wants to hire you is because of your skills, because they think what you have done so far or you can do in future, right, can help them bring profit. So because you have showcased and done something, they're confident that you will be able to do that, because you never know who can do what, right? That's why a summary is important, because that is something that you've already showcased, that you're capable of. Then the purpose, obviously, it aims to quickly grab the attention of the hiring manager and highlight your key qualifications, achievement, and what you can bring to the table. Because this actually helps the person who's looking for such roles or candidates say, oh, this person is the right person for me because he or she has done this thing, he or she has these skills, he or she has these certifications, and he or she has proven that with achievements, with the awards or something. That's why we want to put it in the summary, the awards, the highlighters, right? And then the purpose for the objective is just to showcase what your future journey would look like. Like, what is the primary purpose of objective is to show the employer that this is of your interest. You are interested in, and to convey enthusiasm and motivation for that, right? So that is something which we need to take care of. Then usefulness. Now, this section is very useful and effective if you have some solid work experience and want to showcase your strengths and unique selling skills. If you allow, if it allows you to tailor your summary to match the specific job requirements and demonstrate why you are the ideal candidate for this. So if you are an experienced person and you want to go to the market and get the job basis your experience and your expertise and your skills, this is a perfect section to have in your resume. Versus objective. So I would highly recommend, my vote is always for summary if you're an experienced person. But suppose you're a fresh, right? Here the objective is more useful if you have just started out in your career, changing industries, or you have limited work experience, because then you don't have to showcase something of the past. What you're showcasing is how capable you are in future, why this makes sense for you to be a part of this company. So it can help clarify your intentions and indicate that the skill science, like if you values, your skills align with the requirements of the company. Now, the basic idea here, as I have explained, and I think you got the gist of it as well, unless stop me if you don't get it, that if you're an experienced person, go for a summary, professional summary, because it talks about what you have done, what you have showcased, what you have achieved, right? And that is the basis for any company to hire you when they are looking for experienced people. So please don't put the objectives when you are an experienced person. Avoid putting those objectives. So I hope this is clear. Professional summary or objective, definitely summary if you are an experienced person. Then skills. So there are two types of skills, right? Hard skills and soft skills. Then what are hard skills? You need to use those keywords which are there in the job description, because these are very specific skills. Suppose PMP certification, project management certification. Suppose there is a green belt, black belt, Six Sigma certification, right? Or any CCNA or whatever, your area of expertise. If they're asking for that and you have that, you need to put it in your resume, right? Use those keywords. check for skills in the JD, no rocket science there. Check for the matching profiles. What does this mean? Suppose you are struggling, what should I write in the resume for certain skills which I have, but I don't know how to put it. The idea is that you go to LinkedIn, search for similar profiles as yours, right? And go through all these profiles and capture the right keywords that they are using so that you can also capture them in your resume. But please do that when you have those skills. Don't do that just because somebody else has put it. Please don't do that, right? Only do that when you have those skills. So put it on your resume because not everybody is aware of the things that he or she possesses. So this is one idea to get those more pointers there. Importance of sequence of skills in JD. Very important point. I'll share this with you again, my resume. Okay. So what I have done is on the top, if you see strategic planning, India operations management, cross-functional collaboration, critical decision making are on the top. Where you put your skills is really, really important. So in the JD, if you see, there are certain skills that are required or mentioned at the top. Suppose leadership skills or a PMP certification or a project management experience in IT field. This is at the top in the job description. That means this is their first priority. And this is how you should also put the skills in your resume. Match the sequence because they are looking for the most important skills at the top first, and then the sequence goes down, right? So most important ones at the top. See what is at the top in the job description, and these should be at the top of your resume as well. I hope this makes sense, right? This is important. And matching skills with the JD, no rocket science there, as I mentioned, soft skills. Some of the soft skills I have mentioned, these are like the most important ones. The ones I've captured, it's an overlap from World Economic Forum surveys across the globe and what the companies are looking for as well. So these are like many different types of soft skills that are required by the companies these days. So this is about skills. Any questions anybody has about skills? Because this is something which we can easily gather from the ATS as well, that what kind of skills they are looking for and include those. So you can just have a skill repository there. Then experience. Mention titles, dates, organization for each job, right? So again, this like I mentioned here, this is the title, this is the duration, then in the descending order. Suppose I have changed the organization. Here is that organization, what was the designation and the year. Oh yes, Amit is asking, good to mention both hard skills and soft skills. Good question, Amit, because, these days, as you become senior, I mean, I'm assuming you're already senior roles, where there's a lot of stress on the soft skills as well. And because these are called behavioral or interpersonal skills, when you are responding to any questions in the interview as well, use the STAR technique, which we discussed last time. So you need to mention these skills in your resume for sure. And you will see that these are nowadays extensively being asked as well. When you see the resumes, or not the resumes, the job descriptions, extensively companies are mentioning these in the job description. Okay. So then experience chronological descending order is, as I said, first, recent, most recent experience at the top. Describe role achievements, not just designation, right? So don't just put the designation. I am like, suppose I am director of operation. What does that mean? What do you do? So you need to say that what I do, I drive performance, I set up teams. That is what I do. So my designation of director operations doesn't mean anything to anyone, right? So we should describe the role, not just mention about the designation, because designation doesn't signify anything at all. Then sharp and short, crisp, and then data and numbers. Very, very important that you put in data and numbers, because that would grab the attention of the recruiter. Very, very important that you actually put all the data and numbers in the summary as well as in the Experience. All right. This is about experience. Then education. I mean, after 5 years, I say it's little bit redundant, but anyways, highest degree first, then 2 max. Share grades if you did great, and awards and achievements. So if you don't share grades, if you are like, it's okay. If you're exceptional, only then share the grade. Then projects and certifications, important projects, then any certifications, relevant technology, learning. Please do include those. Also, awards, interest, community service. Oh, very important. See, lot of us do lot of things that socially are very, very respected. Suppose you go and feed some needy people, you support some schools or kids or something you do for social cause. Companies these days are very, very conscious of that. In fact, they like people who drive these things. So I lead the CSR initiative for my organization in India, although it's a global setup. But for India, I am the CSR lead. Now, this is something which is very much recognized by the entire organization, because they look that not just from a driving the delivery perspective, but there are people who are engaged in such things. So this is really respected, and not just within the organization, outside also. So do keep these things in pointers, and even a small gesture or things like that, you can mention that. Don't hesitate to do that. ATS, to take care of ATS, we don't have to scare ourselves. Include the keywords, simple formats, use common fonts, right? The don'ts, no tables. Why no tables? Let me explain that to you. Let me mess up with my resume here. Okay. Yeah, you can see my. So here I am inserting a table. Oops. Insert table. Suppose. See, if you see how ATS and applications generally work, they are trained or fed, they are customized to read like a human. And how we generally read is from left to right, top to bottom, left to right, and then top to bottom. Now, suppose I actually merge the cells. Okay, here. So what is going to happen is ATS is going to start from here, first line, then it goes here. Now it will be confused whether the ATS has to go through the entire section first before moving here, or first here, then here, then here, second, then here, here. How it is going to read the information in the table, I don't know. How the ATS is customized, right? And ATS is not a human being, it's a system. So it will be following certain guidelines or algorithm that are fed into the system. Now, for us to read any table, it is easier for a human being. I can say, okay, even if the line is not there, I can see this first means this and this, second means this and this, third means this and this. But a software would actually read it. Suppose it is one section. This is the first section. It will read 1, 2, 3. Then it will read hello, then Nitin. Then it will not obviously go here. It has already read that and go, how are you? Then good. Then this, then this. Idea here is avoid tables. Same goes for hyperlinks. Remove the hyperlinks. Sometimes they are active. I don't know what is going to happen. Generally, I mean, these days it's covered. It's fixed by the ATS, but we don't know what kind of a technology the ATS is using. Then special characters also, there are certain problems with special characters. You can definitely use @ underscores are not a problem. So these are some of the pointers that you should avoid when you think that ATS can propose issues. But again, avoid underline. I don't think that is such a big problem. So I think we can still live with that. But the others like tables is a big one. Tables, avoid tables, putting tables in your resume. Please don't do that. Then review Review your resume. Please spell check, grammar, keyword audit, and JD match. So please do the review of your resume once it is built before you send it, right? Just hold, check whether information is right or not, only then send it. Amit is asking, what about photo? Will ATS reject a resume with the photo? So ATS, what it does is it is only a text capture, right? There are a lot of tools that does that. But I also generally recommend people not to use photos because people start judging when you have a photo, right? And you also become conscious that whether we should keep a photo or not. So ATS would obviously have it skipped, but then from a basic perspective, whether you want to keep it or not, I'll let you decide whether you want to keep it or not. I always recommend not to do it because there's no reason we should have it on the resume. On a LinkedIn profile, you can still keep it and make it more professional, right? But avoid it on the resume. But yeah, it will skip that. It will only capture, as I said, ATS is what? It recognizes characters. It will recognize the text and try to match it with the keyword of the job description. It's a basic function that software does. It's a software, it's an application. Okay, let me just make this small. Things to avoid. Very important. Photos, as I mentioned, so I'll not discuss that again. Avoid having those photos in your resumes. If you can, it uses space, doesn't help. Multiple pages, I say keep it less than 4 if you are a really experienced person. You've seen my resume, hardly what? 2 pages. I want to keep it very, very sharp, right? I am not saying that you should restrict, but keep it focused. Why focus? Because suppose somebody is reading your resume for the first time, right? And this person has more than 10, 20 resumes lying there. Now, how on earth do you believe this person is going to invest time in your resume of 8 pages and let go those, say, 10, 20, 50 other resumes, right? We need to respect everybody's time. And let me tell you that somebody contradicted me here. One of our tribe members, she showed me her resume was 6 or 7 pages. And I said, it's not going to work. And she said, Nitin, it's going to work because I am directly reaching out to the person I wanted to reach out. And that is absolutely fine. Let me repeat. She actually reached out directly to the person who was recruiting and shared her resume. And if you do so, it's absolutely fine. If you have more pages. Why so? Because there is no scrutiny that is happening. There is no rejection that is happening. This person was actually asking, okay, give me some details about what you have done so far. And it is acceptable. But where our problem is, when we are going to the market, we are applying with recruiters, they already have a pile of 200 resumes, 500 resumes. How on earth they're going to read that 8-pager? Never in their life they're going to do that. So we need to be smart enough to understand the perspective. The golden rule is, I always say 1 to 3 pages, right? 4th is the extension. Don't go till 4, but 1 to 3 pages is good. And don't be over obsessed, right? It is going to 4th. What should I do? It's okay. Detailed home address is not required. We don't have to put it anywhere, right? Incorrect information, please don't do that. Dates of your experience, date of your education, any other information should not be incorrect. False or incorrect information should not be there. Spelling mistakes, very, very poor. It's so easy. Use Grammarly. You can use ChatGPT. ChatGPT can give you inputs like there are some grammatical mistakes in your resume. Just correct those. All you need to do is prompt ChatGPT. Can you check grammatical and spelling mistake in my resume below? Once you press enter, it will say, okay, paste your resume below. You just copy and paste it. As simple as that. Then unrelated funny things. Don't try your good humor on the resume. You might be some of the funniest person on this earth. Companies respect professionalism. No casual behavior there. Then reasons or gaps for leaving the job. Don't explain anything. Resume is a summary. Its purpose is to generate interest in the recruiters or hiring managers' mind about you it is like creating some suspense. That's why I put resume as it's the poster of your professional movie. You are the, that's why I make it as like a movie poster, that you are the star here, and you just have to generate interest. You just have to generate some attention of somebody reading your resume. Don't explain the reasons why there was a gap, what happened to you. Let the recruiter or hiring manager ask you this as a question in the interview. Then less relevance to date of birth and marital status, that is not required. So please don't put it. They can ask you in the interview, that's fine. Irrelevant or outdated information, I mean, there's nothing that is required there. Also, generic information, that it is obvious or generic. I have seen a lot of resumes. People say that I am very good with, suppose you are very good with, say, programming. You're very good with, suppose, coding. At the bottom of the resume, you will write good knowledge of computers, right? I'm hiring for a technical role. Coding is required. Say, suppose programming is required. Say, suppose some data crunching is required. And at the bottom, you're writing some basic, obvious information like good knowledge of computers. Doesn't make any sense. All right. Anybody else? Any questions apart from this? Let's meet next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining today.